This is exciting. Now we're in trouble.
Yeah, finally, we're in trouble.
You do think you can pick out the outer edges of the window clearer than you could before.
I take the ring out and put it on because I'm a big believer in, local signifiers.
And they illuminate the scene below of these angels.
I look at you with wild eyes and I say, give me the candle. You know the one. And my hand is shaking. It says here that it brings dragons to you.
But too slender and tall to be like men.
I can see it all, how it connects. Everything's connected.
And they're stood around a woman in the throes of giving birth.
And in my head, that's a bluff. I'm up on a bluff and I see a German soldier.
Their eyes are wild.
What the fuck?
Some bulbous form begins to take shape in the last circle of shadow.
I'm what?
The vision is gone. The Apocalypse Players present Magnum Tenebrosum, a Call of Cthulhu scenario by Dominic Allen, with Joseph Chance as Dr. John Elvedon, Danann McAleer as Colonel Ambrose Coghill, and our special guest, Tilly Steele, as Dr. Jemima Croft. Your keeper of arcane lore is Dominic Allen. Part 9. My boys, my boys. So, Coghill, you find yourself charging over a muddy bluff, over the bodies of the dead.
Oh God.
Enemy and friend alike. And you get to the top of the bluff and you can see there's this ancient looking well that's buried in the earth. And all around from here you can see devastation of these fields, smoking craters and abandoned trenches.
Worse than I feared.
The clouds are moving fast, scudding over this gunmetal sky. And then you hear this way above you, and you feel a warmth in the ring around your finger, and you look up and there's just this enormous shape in the sky, like it's over a cloud, like going over the cloud above. This shadow, gigantic serpentine shadow with enormous bat-like wings.
Christ.
And you suddenly feel incredibly dizzy and you collapse into the mud.
Ugh. Fucking hell.
So Jemima and Dr. Elvedon, you're still in the church. You come to your senses, Jemima, slowly. You're very groggy. What do you do?
Do I remember what just happened?
Yes, it's coming back to you now.
Right, well, that was rather unusual.
Did I too lose my senses briefly?
No. You succeeded your sanity roll, so I think you lost a little bit of sanity.
Yeah,
but,
I lost.
It's all, yeah. You were compos mentis.
The sanest of us all, Dr. Elvedon.
Yeah, question mark.
Brackets, definitely not.
Mrs. Croft, what was it? You looked as if you saw something over my shoulder, and I whip round, obviously way too late.
He was here.
Do I see a bald figure?
No, there's just you in the church, and the window appears to be completely black again.
The window?
It's fixed.
But did you saw it too? Yes. Tell me you saw it too.
I saw it, and I saw him, the bald man.
Who? What?
The bald man. He was here.
I was attending you. That was you. Your eyes were fixed, and I could have sworn that you were seeing someone, but I was very concerned.
It was him. I could see.
Coghill's gone. I must.
We have to find him.
Yes, you're right.
Before he finds him.
Oh heavens! Oh dear! Yes, of course.
Come on.
I'll start moving towards the door, but I'm a little bit shaky. I'm a little bit.
I'm already out. The door's open, and I'm running out.
As she outstrips me, could I, are there any normal candles around?
Yes, plenty.
Plenty. Good. Yeah. I might just grab a couple of candles as I go. And,
'Twas ever thus.
And shove them in my tweed jacket. For eating later, obviously. But yes, she's got the jump on me because my hands are trembling and I'm feeling the lack of heat. But I think I hiss rather than sort of call. I say, Jemima.
What?
He might not be friendly.
Be that.
I mean, Coghill, go easy on him. You might.
He's not in his right mind. We have to find him before some harm comes to him.
Yes. And is there any sign of him, or is he?
So as you come outside, you find him unconscious. He's lying next to the well, and Peter Lovitz is over him, sort of trying to pat him awake.
Hello, Peter.
Hello. Your friend is
Yes, he's having a flashback. I believe he was in the wars.
Just a little turn. You understand? Good man, Piotr. Let's get him inside. Heavens, I don't know where he got this paraphernalia. Let me just see if I can. Would you give me a hand? It would be most embarrassing for him to be seen out here.
Yes, of course. And he helps you carry him, whichever way you want to go, really.
I mean, I suppose to go back to our rooms, we would go through the public bar, wouldn't it? Unfortunately.
There is a back way, because it's an old coaching house, so you can sort of go through the coaching gate, and there's probably a back
get
door.
The robes off him.
Well, that's what I was thinking. But I mean, if we start disrobing him here, there's a chance that we'll. I think maybe that's a sotto voce between us, and I go, yes.
Well, yes. Why don't we just take him inside the church and just take the robe off and leave it there?
Good thinking.
He's still got his clothes on, hasn't he?
Good thinking.
I hope so.
Is he definitely wearing a robe?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I mean, if I went mad, I wouldn't have taken it off, so true.
I just kind of, pull it off him, and I kind of pull it out from under his body and just chuck it through the door of the church.
Right.
Peter and I try to resist looking quite a lot like a slapstick duo, but unfortunately the harder I resist, the more comedic my long limbs become. I think I probably at one point accidentally slap Peter on the buttock, and then I just look at him and don't apologise, as if I've done something enormously simple but foolish at the same time.
The ring, Doctor. The ring.
Yes. Let's get him inside.
You carrying him into the church?
Well, yeah.
I think I'm going to need a group luck roll. So whoever's got the lowest luck is going to have to roll.
Including me.
Including
I'm on 20, I think.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I haven't spent it.
You're outstripping me by some way.
I think I'm on 20 as well, but it says my starting was 16 and current is 20, which doesn't make any sense.
Well, your luck.
Yeah.
It can't be that low, surely.
Quite low but then mine's 20, so I must have rolled pretty badly.
But you're an unlucky sod. You survived the war.
Yes, true.
Yeah, 20. You can't have been 20 as well. Oh no, maybe you were, but maybe you were both terrible. Anyway, mine's 52,
So, let's have a roll from Colonel Ambrose to see
Hokey cokey. Pig in a pokey.
if you succeed as a group at something.
So that's a 14.
Very lucky.
Very lucky.
Very lucky.
What a roll.
Love to see it.
Yeah, that's a relief.
You'll never know how lucky you were. So yes, you get inside the church and, put him down, I guess. What next? Peter, I think probably, he helps you carry him in and then he sort of backs to the door and says, do you need any help?
Don't worry yourself, chap. Get yourself home safely. Thank you for your assistance.
Yes. Okay. Oh, no problem. And he goes back to work on the well.
Oh, thank you. Yes, most kind. We've got to get out of here.
What are we going to do? He's unconscious. We can't carry him back to the... Can we?
Well, I can give it a go. I've done it before.
We can pretend he's just blackout drunk, I suppose.
Exactly. I can just prop him up. But
what are we going to do with the ring? Are we going to take it?
Bloody hell.
We have to.
Yes. Come on, let's at least chuck that robe under there. Just chuck it somewhere.
I'd chuck it under one of the pews.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
My guess is they know that we're here anyway, and
yes.
Snooping around. We'll just have to play a double bluff.
Oh, they'll know. They'll know.
I'm sorry. I rather lost my nerve there for a second.
It's all right. Calm yourself.
The two of you were really out of it. That's all I can say.
Yes, but I'm perfectly with it now.
You're marvellously well back into it, and now I'm the one who's in danger of leaving it. Right, let's get him up and out of here. Do you want to? If you take the scout position and give me the all clear, and I'll drag him out.
All right. I'm just gonna. Before I do that, I'm gonna slip the ring off his finger and just put it in my top pocket.
Yeah, fine. So you've got the ring in your pocket now.
Mm-hmm.
At least it came off. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
I had a horrible feeling it was going to be fused to my body.
It's just an iron ring.
Lies.
An iron ring.
Nice.
Summons dragons.
And PTSD flashbacks.
That too, yeah.
So probably by now, Coghill's slowly coming round.
Oh, good.
Oh, wait a minute.
Hello, Colonel.
Oh, hello, yes. Goodness, where are we?
You took a bit of a tumble.
Must have done.
We're just inside the church. We're going to get out of here.
Oh, yes. I'm in your hands. I think I'm still probably quite bleary, so I allow you to sort of guide me whichever way you...
I seem obsessed with the idea of going to this chap's house. But have we ever actually been to our local contacts? Not our friends. Obviously, we've been there. I forget his name, Dominic.
Ernest Abel.
Abel I am. Ere I took Elba.
Well, Ernest has invited you round for scones at 11:30.
Yeah, I think we should head there. And I say, let's get to Mr. Abel's, and I think a good strong cup of tea might do you the world of good, Colonel.
Yes. Cream and jam and all that stuff. Yes.
I know it bloody would.
Delicious.
Mm-hmm. Yes, quite.
If anybody says anything, we'll pretend you're drunk.
Yes.
Far-fetched, I know, Coghill, but don't worry. We'll rise to it.
I can smell cordite. Did I fire my firearm? Surely not. Who's been shooting my gun?
I'm afraid it was you, Colonel.
Good Lord.
That's why we need to keep moving.
Yes. Quite right. I see. I tuck my gun back in and so, after you.
All right. Lead the way, Doctor.
And I confidently leave the church and then realise I haven't got a clue where I'm going.
I think it's this way, Doctor.
Thank you, Mrs. Croft.
Yes, so he told you to head east, over the little footbridge.
That was it, footbridge, yeah, okay.
Over a sort of thin stream, and then, sure enough, there's a cottage on the right-hand side down around the corner of a track leading out of the village. You see this little cottage that you presume must be his. It has a very well-appointed, very well-maintained front garden, lots of flowers and things.
Dominic, could I, as we cross the bridge, could I say to the two of them, but in a sort of sotto voce hissed voice, I think I'm going to try look, I just want to see if we're being followed. Are you all right, Coghill?
Yes, quite all right.
Are your eyes still good at this? I mean,
would
that be a tracking roll, Dom, or would that be a spot
to
hidden?
see if you're being followed?
Yeah.
I think it'd be a spot hidden.
My eyes aren't what they were, you know.
I'd give it a go, but actually, do you know what? Why don't we all just have a quick look?
Yes. On three.
Particularly you, I seem to remember, Jemima.
Yes, indeed. That would be wise.
Oh, I'll do my shoelace up, and I bend down to do my shoelace, and I leave Coghill for the first time, assuming you can stand, right? And then I'll have my peek.
I'll pretend to be lighting my pipe and sort of patting down my pockets and turn around and... Oh, dear.
No good for me, I'm afraid.
No.
That's a heavy...
62.
Have you rolled 100?
Yeah.
Nyarlathotep. Have you just summoned Nyarlathotep?
I think so.
Because your dice have Nyarlathotepian shapes on, if anything was Nyarlathotepian. Nice. I rolled an 80, so you did better than me in that sense. No, none of us see anything, and I look forward to the horrors.
So, yeah, you look back, and you look around. You can see just in the distance Peter Lovett's working at his well. There's maybe a couple of villagers sort of pottering between the bakers and the butchers or whatever, but it's pretty quiet, eerily quiet.
Yes.
Too quiet. Coghill, sort of remembering a dream or a memory, you're not sure, your eyes happen to go up, and for a second you think you see a shadow move across the clouds.
Good God.
But then it's gone.
Oh, no. Can't be, no. Just
What
in your head, old man.
Did you see
Just in
something?
your head. No, let's get inside, though. We should get inside, get a roof over us, yes.
Right, yes. Looks like we might have got away with it.
Shakily light my pipe.
I mean, people discharge firearms all the time up here, don't they?
Yes, farmers and their mothers. Let's get inside the house, yes.
No offence meant, of course.
No offence. Quickly.
Yes.
How insane is everyone at this point?
Well,
is Coghill indefinitely insane, or is he?
I lost 6 san in that,
Yeah.
in the church, and that gave me that fugue.
What were you on just before that? Or what are you on now?
It was never high, was it?
My sheet says 18.
Oh, shit, the bed.
Yeah.
Sorry. Strong
Yeah.
language from me there.
But, I mean,
That was worse than I
Appropriate.
remembered. Yeah. I thought you were in your 20s at least.
So you have gone indefinitely insane, haven't you?
I think I must have done.
If you've lost 6, that means you were on 24 just before you lost 6.
Yeah.
Which is a fifth.
Wait, how? What is going indefinitely insane again?
So if you lose more than a fifth of your sanity in one go, you go indefinitely insane.
Okay.
Sorry, if you lose more than a fifth over the course of a day, you go indefinitely insane, in between rests. If you lose 5 in one go, you go temporarily insane.
Okay, yeah.
Potentially. So I know, Jemima, you've gone temporarily insane, and that's probably wearing off now. But yeah, Coghill, I think you're probably indefinitely insane, unfortunately.
I'm just making sure, because the PDFs now do this thing where you can't edit them, or I can't edit them anyway. So hoping it's not just jumped back. It says 1399 above my sanity meter. That means I started on 30, right?
Yes.
Yes, and it's selected as 18, so that will be the last amount I had. So yeah, but I lost 6.
So if you, yeah. Yes. So I will remind you, Coghill, if you're definitely insane, you might have hallucinations and what have you.
Yes.
Which you can always do a reality check to test. But if you're starting to doubt your sanity or doubt what you're seeing,
I don't know that I'm indefinitely insane, so. Dragons.
I don't notice any difference, I have to say.
We should get inside. We should get into
dragons. You're slowly turning into Tolkien.
Yeah, the pipe's there.
Yes, let's get you a scone.
Yeah, that is the most Tolkien thing he said. I knock on the door.
You hear this sort of clattering from behind, somewhere in the cottage, and
just 1 second, coming, just wait there, 1 moment, sorry, just...
I check my watch. Are we early?
Stove going, 1 moment.
you're almost exactly on time.
Oh, how
And
terribly gauche.
You hear this click, clap, and the door swings open. Ernest Abel is there, dressed quite differently to how he was before. He's wearing one of those sort of Edwardian-style fez, nightcap things, purple embroidered nightcap thing with a long tassel. He's still wearing a cravat, and he's wearing a sort of silk Chinese kimono.
Wow.
Very gaudy Chinese kimono.
Goodness.
And he's got a very long sort of church warden pipe.
Goodness.
And he says, "Oh, my dears. And this smoke sort of billows out at the door as he opens it. Oh, come in.
Dragons.
You must come in, yes, sir. You're just on time. How was St. Margaret? Yes, come in.
Well, then, we've
Enlightenment.
had, well, I'm afraid the Colonel's had rather a funny turn, and,
Oh, I'm fine.
well, I'm not feeling too excellent myself. It would be, lovely to have somewhere to sit down and,
Oh, yes.
perhaps something with some sugar in.
Yes.
Ah, well, you're just in time for a tea ceremony. And you go into his living room. His living room is like floor to ceiling books, just loads and loads of books. And then there are also things on the walls, like there are old manuscripts that are framed. There's long scrolls that are unrolled. There's all kinds of objets d'art, little statuettes and fetishes and figurines from all different cultures. He has a very low coffee table, and he's laid out bamboo rugs around it with little cushions. He's like, please sit, and he sits cross-legged on the floor, and he's got like a little sort of Chinese porcelain tea set that tea service that he's starts fussing with.
Will you be all right on the floor, Colonel?
Yes, well, my back, but not what it was, but I'll give it a go.
Oh, jolly good for the back in the long run, you know.
I'm sure. Before I sit down there, I will just sort of go to the window and just look up at the sky and make sure there's no shadows up there.
Oh yeah. Give me a spot hidden. Why not? The room is also thick with incense. Sort of quite cloying, actually.
So
he's got about 5 or 6 joss sticks on the go.
A lot of dragon imagery, I imagine.
Oh yeah. He's got all that sort of shite, crystal dragon shit you find in like occult shops.
Yeah, love that.
Little pewter wizard statues.
And there's lots of
The 1920s version of that's probably quite exotic, I would have thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks quite good.
He's got lots of tinkling kind of what they called wind chimes.
Oh god, yeah.
Glass wind chimes all over the shop.
The whole place smells like a shop in Glastonbury.
As you go to the window, your head has to push through about 3 of them to get to the window.
A lot of hemp goods.
A lot of hemp goods.
Well, I failed my spot.
Opium? Anyone for opium?
Does he offer?
I mean,
No.
yes, I'll take it if he offers.
You're the last person who should be doing opium. Fucking hell.
I don't know, it might chill me out.
I don't think it will.
Yes, opium, notorious for chilling everyone out.
Chasing the dragon. That's what you're going to do.
Literally, he'll start
Chase the dragon.
I bring the dragons to me, and then I chase them with my opium. It's a little.
How did you get on with that spot hidden?
I failed.
Good.
Yes, you don't see anything in the sky particularly. There's some of the things near the windowsill. Some of the statues are very disturbing. There's one of the sort of elephant, you presume some sort of elephant god.
Ganesh.
With long... Yeah, at first you think it must be Ganesh, but then it doesn't look a lot like Ganesh. Looks a bit wrong, but anyway.
Something wrong with this elephant. Anyway.
Come on, Colonel. Come and have a sit down.
Yes.
Too many arms and legs and tusks.
Some sort of discoid ending to the trunk, is that?
Yeah, the trunk looks weird. It looks more like a tentacle than a trunk, but never mind. So yes,
a T.
Once you sat,
I murmur something along the lines of, well, the myriad imagination of the Hindu. Yes. No, but here we are, and sorry for being so timely. You look delightful. If we'd known, I would have changed into something slightly smarter.
Oh, please, no need at all, no need at all. Yes, please have a seat. We've got scones and yes, butter. Yes. The butter's there. And I trust you all drink Lapsang Souchong.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
whenever I can. Yes.
Yeah, bit smoky, acquired taste, but yes.
Oh, I do like the smokiness.
Fujian province. Yeah. Yes, very good. Well, well, I have some excellent news for you. I've dug out everything I can find, and he pulls out this big stack of books and plops them down in the middle of the coffee table, and says, "Quite the bit of stuff I've managed to glean already. So that's quite useful. But I'm still working my way through it. I'm sure I'll have more for you later. Remind me what it was exactly you were interested in. It was all the stuff about." Vibernius, was
exactly,
it?
Yes.
P. Vibernius.
Yes. Oh, yes. So, fascinating, actually. An interesting cross-section, actually, between local history and a bit of the occult, I would wager.
Good lord.
So, yes, he's an interesting chap. Turns up in Britain around 103 AD, around then, we think. And he seemed to have formed some kind of a cult of a lesser-known Roman deity, something to do with some sort of. I'm not entirely sure. Some sort of very minor deity related to the night. It's quite obscure. I haven't been able to find anything else on this Tenebros figure, but anyway.
Tenebros. Do you mind if I take notes?
Oh, not at all. Please do.
Thank you.
A bit like being in a seminar, isn't it?
I love this guy.
Yeah, he's great.
It wasn't. Not when I was at Oxford. We didn't sit on the floor, of course. They're a very narrow-minded set of people. Anyway,
So I've heard.
Yes, indeed. But I'm well travelled. I've appropriated what cultures I come across.
Quite.
Clearly. Which is the very modern and liberal thing to do, of course. 20, whatever.
Tenebros, you were saying?
I'm one of the good guys. Yes.
Yes. There's no doubt about that.
Yes.
A nightmare in the local curry house, I imagine.
Yeah. Oh, well, I tried to learn Cantonese, but it just turns out if you shout English loud enough, they understand you perfectly well. So anyway, what should we get to?
I said
yes.
Tenebros.
Yeah. Have you travelled much? Same goes for the Welsh, actually. So yes, he crops up in around 103, but not here. Somewhere in Wales, in fact, I think. But he gets this little following going, and it was quite a popular thing, I think, to come to places like the edge of empire, like Britannia and other places, and bring your little groups of, find little deities to follow that perhaps weren't very popular back in Rome. Anyway, about 100, so nearly 200 years later, during the reign of Emperor Maximian, there were a number of peasant uprisings throughout the empire, the Bagordi, but never meant to have happened in Britain. These were all happening in Francia and Hispania. But apparently, I found this. I found one chap who writes about it, a scholar who goes on to mention about this stuff. So there was a bit of a hoo-ha in this very area, possibly connected to this cult of Vibernius Marca Legatus, which is quite interesting. Let me see if I can find it for you. And he starts flicking through the books.
Yes.
And let me see if I can find it.
I look over at the good colonel and I see how his eyes are moving, and I say, "Oh, 11:30. I think a little something in memory of the fallen. Don't you, Colonel?" And I take out a little hip flask and I just add a little dash of whiskey to his lapsang, and I add a tiny drop to mine, and then I just offer it to you, Jemima, as he's sort of as he's going through these notes.
Too early for me, Doctor.
No,
Thank you.
Yes, of course. It does add to the smokiness. It is a PT number.
Lovely
Do you
stuff.
mind if I light a candle as well? I won't keep it anywhere near the. I positively leap up. I won't keep it anywhere. Is your fire lit? I can't see.
I can light the fire.
Oh, don't worry. Leave it to me. I'll listen as I light it. I find it terribly soothing. Something I used to do. My bagman was never good at it. You understand? During the war.
I see. Oh, well, no.
Just a little one.
Well,
nothing to smoke us out. We'll let the lapsang and these lovely scents do that. Sorry, carry on.
Yes,
forgive me.
Jolly good. Well. Yes. So, yes. So, from what I gather, this general he forms this cult, possibly in Wales or down south somewhere there, and then he comes up here with a group of rogue legionaries, and they form a semi-permanent camp around a natural well, which I presume is the actual well we have now. I don't see why it wouldn't be. And this scholar says that he made this pilgrimage, I suppose, because he'd been spoken to in his dreams. and believed it to be this god Tenebros calling to him, offering to bestow a great boon. Well, anyway, here we are. Yes. So 286, there was the Bagaudi, Gaul and Hispania, and these uprisings were ruthlessly put down by the military. But yes, apparently there was this one similar military operation in Britain. But it's unusual because it wasn't another 100 years before Roman rule in Britain began to collapse. And it was some sort of uprising in a place they called Umidasium, which is dabbing on the world. And yes, here's the chap. He writes, "It was a brave general who led the men against the degenerate Romans who had built Umidasium, for none would face the darkness in that place. Yet he rallied them into a night so black that nothing could be seen of the settlement from outside of it. The brigands had taken to tunnels underground and lured the legionaries into a trap. Those that returned spoke of the village being accursed with unnatural foulness, and there was rumour that the women had lain with beasts, for there were abominations there, though they moved unseen. That land was marred with an ever-present fog, putting men out of their wits. They had seen unnatural things, and would not speak of it." So very much like Lancashire at the moment. Of the Britons, a soothsayer was found who could cast animal bones to divine many secrets. He had heard of Umidasium and feared the place. Through tunnels, the legionaries moved undetected and witnessed the rites of those savage brigands. The soothsayer made mockery of them, performing backwards their barbaric rituals, having learned much from talking to the trees and the moon. The power of their gods broken, and the darkness lifted, the settlement was put to death, and the land purified. General Antoninus sealed all that remained, and sanctified the tomb with a shrine to Juno. And there we have it. I mean, that's all I've gleaned so far, but, I mean, who knows? Well, I wouldn't put much store in all the details. These Roman scholars, you know, they tend to embellish things a little bit, get a bit carried away. But certainly the existence of a natural well seems plausible, and I think probably there was a lot of internal religious friction within the empire at times. It wouldn't be surprising if maybe this cult got a bit too big for their boots, or I don't know, this General Vibernius had maybe started to have ideas above his station, or form some sort of splinter organization. The empire didn't take kindly to that sort of thing, so I wouldn't read too much into the rest, but certainly it sounds like that might have something to do with it. Yes, it struck me because we were talking about those tunnels, secret tunnels and passages, secret passages, and here it is, as they used them all under the place. Yeah.
So the well, the tunnels, there's too many links for it not to be some truth. Good Lord.
Yes.
What a story.
Indeed.
A story.
Indeed.
Yes.
What a history.
Quite.
Well, I mean, feel free to borrow any of the books you like.
Well, yes, such was my zeal for lighting this fire, and as if by magic, he's produced a fire out of barely anything. Of course, if that's all right with you, Dom. And he looks considerably calmer. But he does turn around and say, "Yes, of course, I neglected my notes at that point. Did you say that it was a soothsayer who made mockeries of these cultists' rites? A Roman soothsayer in the tradition of the Romans, or
no? It says quite specifically that he was a Briton.
Ah, yes,
presumably a local Briton they had gone to. He would cast animal bones to divine many secrets.
Animal bones, yes, of course. And
I suppose that's something you're into.
And yes, interesting.
But he said they were fearful of the place, the Britons.
Yes, hardly surprising, if any of this is true.
Oh well, I wouldn't think too much of it's true.
Oh, it's the symbolism, isn't it? The symbolism is profound. The trees and the moon.
It is.
Yes,
invoked. Fascinating. I suppose a sort of, a hearkening to the natural order that there was. I suppose he's trying to reinforce the idea that what they were up to was unnatural. Can't be sure.
Was there any mention of a mother?
Oh no, but there was this comment about. Oh yes, here we are, General Antoninus. Are you familiar with Roman curse tablets?
Not my field of expertise, I'm afraid.
So sometimes the Romans would they would write curses on a tablet and cast it into a well, for example. As a way of
banishing their worries.
No, very much to punish the people they hated.
Yes, that seems more Roman.
Yes. I suppose as a sort of psychological balm, so that they are less likely to take it out on people in reality. But sort of like the tradition of the voodoo doll or the witch's curse. Something like that, putting an evil eye on someone. It's really for the benefit of the caster than than to punish the victim. Obviously, it's more of a that sort of thing. But certainly, apparently, I found an account here that suggests that General Antoninus, when he was purifying Umidasium, he had curse tablets cast into the well to prevent the women from ever giving birth, to make them barren.
Oh.
Gosh.
How strange.
Who would do such a thing?
Well, someone who doesn't want anyone from that place to give birth again, I suppose.
Yes, they did mention women laying with beasts and odd things being born, didn't they?
Yes, I wonder whether that means some sort of an alliance with the Scottish.
Could be. Yes.
Got to cut so much of this episode.
I think I say that, but I'm looking at Jemima and Coghill as I say it, sort of undoing my tie and loosening my shirt, sort of turned away from our man Ernest Abel, because it's not the heat of the room that's making me nervous, but I'm sort of looking at them as if I don't believe anything that I've just said, going, God, lying with beasts, and just trying to see what their reactions are.
Ernest sort of chuckles and says, well, I suppose it could be a small community like that, ostracized from the rest of civilization. I don't suppose it's out of the possibility that they may have interbred a little too much. It could be a case of incest.
Yes,
of course.
Terrible thing to think of.
Yes, that's no more plausible explanation.
Well, yes, exactly. East Anglia.
Systematically alienate fucking everyone.
Just any place names, get rid of them.
Who have we covered? The Chinese, the Indians, the Welsh, the Scots, and now people from Norfolk. Although they're represented here, so actually we're okay.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
I was actually going to mention that I have taken a brief driving tour around Suffolk, and if you think Norwich is bad, well... And I try to say the name Ipswich, but it sticks in my mouth, and I start coughing. The only thing that comes out is witch. So sorry.
I think as the coughing fit subsides, I turn to him and I say, I'd like to use your lavatory if that's all right. Stand up.
Oh yeah, feeling a bit peaky. Well, not to worry. I have a very modest commode in the garden.
Right, I don't need anything fancy.
And he proffers you, going through his stacks of books, he proffers you a bit of newspaper.
I'll be fine, thank you.
Just to get the thick off?
Fuck me. I take it and just put it in my pocket. And close the door.
Yes, I think I'll hold my bladder until we get to the accommodation.
Quite right, Mrs. Croft.
Really, I want an excuse to do a spot hidden, see if there's any doors I can poke my head around. As you leave, I'm going to say, take your time, Coghill, and I wink at him. Which everyone sees.
Yeah, let's let the loony loose in the fucking... Take your time to do some good investigating work. I wonder if you'll see any dragons.
I wink back and just cock my gun and leave.
Oh, God. I'm not ready. No. You don't do that, do you?
No, I don't.
No,
that would be
just you don't cock the gun, but everything else you wink.
No, everything else I do.
Well, so while you're off, Ernest says, Well, so that's sort of a general picture of how it all connects up at the moment, as far as I can tell. But I feel like, I don't know, there's something not quite right, and I haven't been able to put my finger on it yet, but give me time. I will get to the bottom of it. There's something to do with the dates, or yes, that name keeps bothering me as well. Tenebrosum.
Well, yes.
I feel like I've seen it somewhere before.
Of the shadow of things. Any mention of any symbols from our story of Umadacium?
Oh, let me see. And he flicks through and he says, only this one. And he holds it up. Only this one.
Ah, yes. Yes.
I've never seen it before. It's quite a nice pattern, I suppose. It seems to be Vibernius's personal mark, from what I can gather.
We have seen that before, haven't we?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, this is the third time now.
Was it that one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Good out.
The serpentine central body and the wing-like appendages. Yes, how interesting. Well, I wonder.
How was the church, by the way? Did you find anything interesting?
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. I had no idea that there would be such a dedication to one of the dreadful histories of the persecution. A daughter of the Christian church. I liked the way that you were very casual about mentioning her there. Agatha. Agatha, that's right, isn't it?
Who are we on about?
Margaret.
Margaret of Antioch.
Of Antioch, sorry, not Agatha.
Oh, Margaret of Antioch.
Margaret of Agatha.
What about her?
Well, it's very unusual to find such a dedication, such a saint.
Yes, it's an unusual
one. But it makes more sense now that I understand the journey to Umadacium.
Ah, yes, of course. The exorcism of demonic possession, is it not? She's
Diabolical infestation, and of course pregnant women.
Oh, very good.
Coincidentally. Now listen here, Ernest.
Yes, Dr. Elvedon. John?
Sorry, yes, John. Apologies.
John? Not at all.
I'm a little nervous. I'm a little worried.
Oh, it'll be fine. Have some more tea.
Oh, that's most kind, but I mean I'm worried for our friend.
Oh, I'm sure. He's only been gone a minute.
No, I don't mean...
If it's a number 2, I'll give him another 5.
No.
Sorry?
I don't mean him.
The vicar.
I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned.
Yes, of course.
I'm very concerned that there's not much coming back from this in terms of the police's view of things. Certainly the way in which we arrived here. It seems like the open and shut case has been very much decided, and the brief interviews we've had with individuals, obviously not revealing our direct bias, shall we say, would it be fair to say, Mrs. Croft, they have not been favourable?
Not in the slightest.
Worse still, I can't help but get a little bit nervous and thinking, do you think some sort of mad fellows, I don't want to sound outre, but at the same time I'm just going to come out with it, do you don't think they would have started something like this back up again for the fun of it and be investigating some sort of terrible, I don't know, black magic or something? I sweep my luxurious golden hair away from my forehead in a manner that is in no way hiding my embarrassment and absurdity.
I stare at him out of the corner of my eyes.
He looks down for a long time at the coffee table and into his cup of tea. You can give me a psychology roll if you like.
Well, in some ways,
Can I?
I'm trying to do this
yes.
so Jemima can see it. But I'll give it a go. Shall I give it a go with the penalty die? Because I just want to burn everything down in this house.
Yes. No, you don't need to do a penalty die.
A psychology roll. Not.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I rolled 73.
Ooh.
But I have 75.
Yep.
Hi.
Amazing. So he looks down as if he's just
Analysis begin?
He looks down as if he's just thinking, but then you see this kind of tremor pass across his face, which you take to be anxiety. And he's clearly weighing up whether it's worth saying something or not.
I reach out a hand, comforting on his shoulder, and I say, "We're here to help.
Oh.
I'm not here to judge anyone for anything. I just want to make sure my friend's okay."
Thank you. And same, of course, I get a bit carried away with all this stuff, but yes, we have to get to the truth.
I'll just say that I've seen some unusual things since I arrived in this town, things that I have never seen before in my life.
Oh, really? Well, what I would say is that I don't know about reenacting this, but certainly talking to Corin, it seems that while in my absence of many years from the village, there had been some sort of what's the word? A waywardness towards the local faith that the previous minister encouraged. I don't know Reverend Ormskirk. I didn't know him particularly well. I barely met him. But certainly he was not orthodox. And from what I gather, the organization of the church were not fond of him. But he commanded a lot of local respect, including from the Roehampton family. Is it possible that he is reenacting some of this stuff? I don't know. But I think what is likely is that he may have stumbled upon one or two old ideas in the area that perhaps he tried to incorporate. As for the village itself, I don't know. I can't be sure, I'm afraid. But I would be loath to suggest that it has any bearing on the disappearance of Tabitha Stevens. If it does, then that would be very disturbing.
Then what is your working theory? Do you have one?
Well, I trust Corin implicitly. He adored that girl. She was one of the only people in the village who paid him any respect. Some of the men in this village are very damaged. Some from the war, others perhaps in different ways. But there aren't many young people here, as you may have noticed. Perhaps those cursed tablets are still working, eh? But, yes, children are rare in the village, and Tabitha stood out because of her youth. And so, unfortunately, I think the disturbing truth is probably that a very mundane kind of evil has befallen her. The mundane evil of masculine obsession.
Yes. Exactly.
Do you believe that someone could have framed Corin?
Absolutely. He has very little mutual compassion in this village. People don't like him very much. He's always tried to control and to contain and to push. He wants the best for people, but he's not a great facilitator or communicator in that regard. He's very old school. I respect that. And once you get to know him, he's perfectly charming. But he's never really ingratiated himself with the village. They're a difficult lot, unfortunately. Apparently ever since Umidasi.
Indeed.
But yes, I do, however, believe that the answer is here. I don't think it was someone outside of the village that did this. I think it was someone in the village. And I believe the truth will out. And once it does, Corin will be clear. But I do worry for you because I don't think you're going to find her in the condition you want. I think it's too late for that. As for your theory about cults, he glances towards the window and says, in my time, I've seen a few things. In Nepal, I came across a community of people who worshipped something in the hills, and their rites were frankly barbaric, but they'd gone unnoticed for so long that no one cared. I've seen it too in more civilized places. There's a sect of people in Shanghai who celebrate what do they call it? The bloated woman? Ghastly stuff. I didn't come across it directly, but I'd heard enough rumors. But I can't imagine something like that happening in Davin on the Wold.
No, of course not. It seems so unlikely, although of course they do say that the best place to hide the devil is in plain sight.
How close are we to solving this, Don? Will we ever?
There's a bit further to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still relatively sane.
Yeah, remarkably so. Well, touch wood.
Let me just have a quick think.
Well, that's worrying. It's always a bad omen.
They are.
So guys, we're thinking soothsayer, right? Metagame. Brief D&D metagame. Soothsayer does some kind of crazy shit with trees and the moon, and somehow solves this fucking thing. Just saying.
Find us a local soothsayer.
I'm wondering if she is still alive and there's some kind of possession happening, or either that, or she has been killed by some sicko in the village, but the cult are using it to get rid of Corin so that they can take over the
Well,
village.
now I think she's impregnated.
There's also, yes, I was about to say,
I didn't.
the cat especially.
But we haven't even talked about the cat and the fact that that's what happened to the cat, right?
And all these, everything being related to pregnancy and the stories of deformed births and hardly any children. Also, let's not forget that when we found that sackcloth or whatever it was on the tree, I'm pretty sure I marked the trees because I did a track roll and saw footsteps, and they were leading off to a farm on the other side of the woods. So there's a link, something to be investigated there as well. But yes, for the time being, I'm somewhere in the cottage, possibly being murdered by the look on Dom's face.
He's just working out which door leads to there.
Of course, yes. Which door has the thing behind it?
I'm pretty sure I've spoken to the two of you about my concern. Yes, I did. I've spoken to you about my concern about Corin's cellar.
Yes.
Did we ever get in there?
No, but with this second mention of tunnels.
Yes.
Given the fact that there's a tunnel connecting to the well, or we think there is. We haven't been down there.
Well, we saw Baldy down there, didn't we?
Right. Go up the
Baldur's Gate.
Which was? Do we all see Baldur's Gate down or out?
I think it was just me. Baldy's Gate. I think I saw him, and then Evelyn, Elvedon, not Evelyn, Elvedon.
Well, there's not much
lit a rag and dropped it down the well but I don't think anyone else saw him. Yeah. We need to get down there, see those curse tablets. I'm assuming.
Come on, Dar. So, send us crazy.